Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. First, a little apology. I'm trying this because although I had a quality microphone before, some people were saying that the volume was too low, and so I'm trying this. See if this works better. So, um, this is called Feeling Useless. Remedies for an under-discussed cause of sadness. Children can feel useless, the product of their impotence in the adult-controlled world. Teens can feel even more impotent because they believe that if they were allowed, they could be potent. Young adults, blessed with, and some would say saddled with, higher education inculcated big ideas, too often find themselves pulling a beer lever or a barista lever. Even many people who, to use the current argot, launch by midlife see the dispiriting limitations of their influence at work, in changing their flawed spouse, even their kids. And of course, in old age, the decline in physical and mental capability often leads to the greatest dispiritedness because hope for a better future is gone. Their awareness grows of being pushed ever closer to the end of life's conveyor belt. What's a mere mortal to do? Start by talking about your kid or your grandkid. Please resist the temptation to overprotect. Short of allowing your young child to climb a cliff solo, the liabilities outweigh. The parent who allows kiddo to climb a tree, literally or figuratively, even unsupervised, is assured of increasing the child's self-efficacy and self-confidence, not to mention joy. Even if, against the odds, he or she falls and breaks a limb, that'll heal far faster and more completely than if having gotten the disempowering message that the world's a dangerous place and that they're ill-equipped to deal with it. And don't tell me about the risk of becoming a quadriplegic or dying. That risk is trivial. One must make decisions based on probabilities, hence the absurdity of the U.S. government making everyone take their shoes off before getting on an airplane because one schmuck hit a bomb in his heel. Indeed, previous generations of parents were far more likely to let their kids play unfettered. Yet today, despite the long decline in crime rate, per Kim Brooks' book, Small Animals, Parenting in the Age of Fear, many parents have grown overprotective, perhaps in part for fear that some zeitgeist-soaked parent will deem them irresponsible for allowing Junior to play outside unsupervised, or, per Brooks, left in a cool car for 10 minutes while mom ran into the store, who then was reported to the cops by one of those zeitgeist-soaked parents, found guilty, and forced to do community service. Now some thoughts about how young and midlife adults can create a measure of feeling useful when they're feeling useless. What about those millions of underemployed, under-influential adults? In a world of 7.7 billion people, relatively few have major influence. Even the president of the world's only superpower has been rendered impotent by the media, which has manipulated the public into a paroxysm of surety that he is the Antichrist, who, if allowed, would wreck humankind. Because so few jobs, even those ostensibly in public policy, affect much policy, let alone improve human lives, the most likely way to increase agency is to act where you clearly can influence, one-on-one. Mentor someone at work, be a thoughtful, two-way communicative parent, volunteer for a local charity that you know makes a difference, start an ethical business that improves or brings pleasure to people. Now we turn to old age. Sure, that's a particularly good time for mentorship, passing on the wisdom of your life, maybe of the ages, to the next generation or even to your age peers, even offering unwanted advice to that stranger on the bus. But there's no getting around the elderly's relative impotence. Fortunately, there are ways to potentiate even one's latter years, maybe even saving the best for last. Because few employers will hire the aged to do something important, can you hire yourself? Is there a project or business you have the bandwidth to try? A last hurrah. Maybe your awareness of your place on said conveyor belt can fuel you to go out in a blaze of glory, or at least to not fade out like a fireplace's last ember. A more likely source of elder usefulness is a bequest. For many older people with the wisdom to have pursued a lifetime of saving over materialism, they can wisely, rather than reflexively, bequeath their savings. Sure, you might do the standard thing, leave it to the kids and equally, but in your situation and in the larger scheme of things, is that wisest? Think of what each of your kids would do with the money. Think of the extent to which that would empower rather than debilitate, as per those trust fund babies and welfare recipients for whom the money is a paralytic. Might some or even most of your hard-earned savings do more good bequeathed elsewhere, to a needy person you know, or a charity you believe generates much good per dollar expended, especially when your dollars would, unlike if given to a large charity, be more than a grain of sand tossed onto a beach? I would be less than authentic if I suggested these elder tips transcend the recognition that nothing can preclude most older people feeling ever more useless. When those feelings descend on you, don't be afraid to use the time-honored, shrink-discouraged denial, suppression, self-delusion, and distraction. For example, oh, the end is a long way away, and sure, I may forget things, but the accumulated wisdom trumps onward and upward. The takeaway? Sometimes all of us feel useless. But I'm not a fan of the standard advice, acceptance. At the risk of ending with a very not Christmassy exhortation, fight it. I'm Marty Nemko. Thank you for watching.